G'day everyone, I've been very lucky to be given this new Moza Air 2. Now, I mean, it hasn't been given to me, I've got it actually on loan just to do a review. These actually aren't released yet. I think they're going to be released sometime next month worldwide. But I've been very lucky that one of the local suppliers has given me one of these to review over the next week or so. So I'll be using it here today, doing a review all around Dales for this area, and then I'll also be using it on a wedding that I'm doing this weekend as well. So we'll be able to look at some of those images once we've actually finished this initial talk. Now, the people that have been following me would know that I have the Moza Air Cross, which I absolutely adore, and I use this all the time. This is really great for Sony mirrorless cameras because it is so small. And the people know that I do fusion, which means I'm doing stills and video at the same time. And being able to have a small gimbal like this is really great. So I'm actually been trying this now. You'll notice the difference in size. So this is substantially bigger. It is way bigger than what this has. I think it's 4.5 kilos. This can actually hold, so it really is really quite large if you want to put a big digital SLR on there, or even if you were using the Sony cameras and you wanted to have actually the lenses on there as well, like the G-Master lenses, it would easily take that sort of weight as well. So anyway, I want to now talk to you about some of the features that this gimbal has. Okay, so the gimbal itself comes with this great feet that really is quite nice and solid. And it really holds the camera down, or the gimbal down, really steady on the ground. It's also stable enough if you wanted to use it as extra support too, which is really good how this works as well. You have got a dial here as well, which you can program to do multiple things. I've actually got it at the moment programmed to tilt. You'll see that as I turn this, it will actually start to tilt the gimbal, which I like. But you can use this to use some of the focusing modes, because you can buy, well, they actually come with the kit that I've got actually comes with a focusing module that you can use for sign lenses and attach it to the gimbal, and then you can use this to rack focus in as well. So that's a really good feature. It's not something that I'll be using though, because I do only use the Sony lenses, which are all autofocus. It's just the way I like to work doing fusion. Overall, the gimbal itself has a switch at the front, which you can see through here. If I hold that switch down, basically it will hold the camera into that position. So you'll see now, if I hold the switch down, it will hold whatever position it was last in. That can be really handy for when you're walking or whatever, because all of a sudden you could be at a spot and hold that and it will lock that point in, which is really nice, and then let go and then the gimbal will actually start to move again. All your controls at the back work through here. You've actually got your joystick, obviously. You have got a little LCD display which actually shows up through here as well, and that's really nice too, and it tells you what your pitch, roll and yaw is. And you can also control the strength of that just by turning the dial actually here as well. So one of the great features of this actual gimbal is the fact that you can actually change the strength of the motors, or how fast the motors work, just by rotating this dial. So it'll go all the way up to 99, which obviously would be very, very responsive. And you can go all the way down to 0 or 1, which would move very, very slowly. So you can control everything that you need in speed directly just from this dial. So that means you don't have to open up anything like an iPhone or anything like that to control that. You can do it directly from this actual gimbal, which is really great. If your camera will work with, like Canon I think does, you can actually change the ISO and your modes, your actual camera modes, through this dial as well. You can go AV, TV, you can go ISO. That's your mode switch through here, and also you've got your sports switch here as well, which basically if you click onto that once, it will go into sports mode, and I'll show you what I mean by that. If I click onto that mode once, it will then be into sports mode, which turns very fast. If I click back onto it, it will then go back to its normal slow mode, as you can see coming through here. So it works really great. I mean, I really like it. You can just do it from the joystick. You can change your modes directly from the back through the joystick through here. Alright, so you'll notice at the moment these are all free. If I want to say lock the yaw, I just have to click once and you'll see now it gets to lock. If I press once again, it will come on. If I click 2, that's affecting the roll, which is now locked. If I click 2 again, it becomes active. If I click on 3, you'll see now that the pitch is locked. And again, I can engage it. So you can choose which one of these you want to activate, and just by triple clicking or clicking once or twice, each one becomes active or locked, which is really an easy feature, which works really nice as well. It has this wonderful little switch here, which if I turn this off, it actually, what it actually does, it actually locks the gimbal in place this way, which means if you're walking around like I do when I'm doing weddings and things, you don't have to worry about the gimbal rolling either way. So it's great if you're just walking around, like I'm often walking around like this, and then I'll have the second camera in my other hand. So having that ability to not worry about this rolling backwards and forwards, side to side, can be great, because if you're moving around very quickly, it's not going to be banging all around. So that's fantastic. I really like that idea of that switch just in here. The balancing of the camera is very straightforward. You just have one here, a control there. You've got one here at the back and another one on the actual handle here. Very nicely made and manufactured, and you can tighten them up really easily, and then it just doesn't move. The actual mount itself is fantastic, because what it actually does, this mount, you can, the bottom part's locked. So because that bottom part's locked there, you can then just take this out just by clipping this switch through here, just put it onto unlock, and then you can actually move this back and forward to balance it. And then if you want to take it off, all you do is you just press these two little buttons. They're like little silver buttons through the side here, and then that will take out this center part. If you do that, then you don't have to rebalance it if you're taking your camera off and on, which, for instance, if you're changing batteries, you don't have to worry about rebalancing it every single time you put on, because this is locked in place. So you can actually tune all of the levels of power and everything to the motors and everything yourself, or you can do what they call an auto tune, and all you do is you just go through the motor and then you actually click on auto tune, and then I'll just do that for you. So you can just go here, you go motor, power, auto tune, and then once that comes up, you'll see now it starts to shake. So it goes through a little system in itself, and it does a number of checks. Now, it's one way of making sure that your camera is weighted correctly and everything like that. It'll work out all the balances and powers that it needs in that. And it's just another feature basically that you can get around without having to use the iPhone, which is fantastic. It is a Manfrotto plate that's actually on there. So that's a really great design, because the other, the Moza Air that I have, once you take it off, you can't actually, you have to rebalance it, so that's a bit of a problem. One of the other features too of the camera is Inception Mode. To access that, you just press the S button. I've got it twice, and that will put the camera straight up. You can then rotate the camera using the joystick like this. You can also hold it obviously flat and do it as you're walking, and we can have a look at a couple of those images now, just how that works. But overall, that's a really fun feature to use.
When I saw you, I would lose control. Made me feel like there was no tomorrow. Should've told you that you're beautiful, but the days pass and now it's so long ago. Did you make it? Did you break free? Did you manage to be who you wanna be? Maybe somewhere you think about me too. 'cause I'm growing old, but I need you to deal with my sorrow. Just a memory, just a broken frame, and I know that I have no one else to blame. Did you make it? Did you break free? Did you manage to be who you wanna be? Maybe somewhere you think about me too. I wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Would you know my name? Would you know it then? Did you feel the same? Wonder where are you now? Wonder where are you now? Should have told you that you're beautiful. I wonder where are you now?